years. My kids all know him with it. He cut it off about 6 months ago, and the whole family's like, whoa, David, you don't have the beard. Used to be a full beard. Back before that was cool, like 15 years ago, he had the beard. Then he went to the little goatee and the Colonel Sanders look. And so the truth is, I'm not just Bill Hicks. I'm actually a clone of Colonel Sanders. He's the first clone of the original Colonel Sanders. Get the toothbrush at InfoWarsStore.com or come back and take a few calls. Stay with us. Ant Farmer, who disagrees. Go ahead, Ant Farmer, you're on the air.
Alex, rather than thanking you like everybody else does, I'd like to know, how do you have multiple articles, multiple shows, specifically about cell phone and cancer, yet you make your listeners wait for almost an hour?
Well, I have never said that I'm not a hypocrite, but I think that hypocritical argument you just put out is crazy. How is it my fault that you are on a cell phone if you made that decision and not a landline? Or let's go further. I only made you hold like 5 minutes. You were given preferential treatment because you disagreed, and I always want to put the ignorance on display.
Sure. So there's other people that are holding, so I'll get quickly to my point.
Well, no. We're going to hold you over the next segment. We're going to get to Tom and Margaret and Blake and everybody, and then to David Knight. But let's lovingly walk through all this, can we? For just a moment. I'll just have people disagree all day. That's really what wakes me up, because I mean, to interface with you is so freaky. You just claimed that I'm a horrible person exposing cell phone radiation, but then I'm getting people to contribute to using the cell phones. I've said Apple's one of the worst companies when it comes to treating its employees and its factory contractors, and I admit that I then have one because it's an easier operating system for me than a Droid, and I use it for limited things, and I think it outbalances, because I use it for good, the photos, the videos I shoot, exposing the whole system. It's like if I'm a soldier on a battlefield and I pick up the enemy's weapon to use it against them, but I point out the problems with it, and I point out the issues, and I say I'm not perfect. So I could see some hypocritical argument there how I'm bad, but how in a million years is making you hold just a few minutes, going right to you, and that you disagree with me because I am making people fry their brains on cell phones?
I've called in before and waited over an hour, so that puts that...
But you're in a victimology. You're probably a big liberal, and so you're mad that you've had to hold to be on the show. I mean, this is just crazy. You're like bitching about some side issue that doesn't matter. It's a popular show, brother.
Hey, I think I have a right to. I got 5 bottles of DNA Force in front of me. I think I have a right to be able to criticize.
Okay, well, you have a right to criticize me anyway, sir, before you said you have 5 bottles of DNA Force, and I appreciate your support. Hold on just a second. You have a right to call in if you don't buy stuff from us, but let me just say something. Now, be honest. What did DNA Force do?
Hasn't done anything for me yet.
And you really have, you have 5 bottles of it.
Hey, Alex, I quit smoking taking X2. Your listeners know me very well. Can I get to the comparison that I wanted to make between Black Lives Matter?
You can, but you're the one. Hold on. We're going to go over the break. I'm going to hold you because you got a cell phone there?
It's the only thing I have. I work. Am I supposed to use a landline when I'm a tradesman?
Well, no, but you could use... I do want to go more to Skype and stuff, so folks don't have to do that, where they can just call in a main line. I think Skype can... or they've got computer phones that can call. Sir, I think it's a red herring, but I'm going to shut up, give you 2 minutes when we come back, I promise, to hear about this. I do remember you calling and saying, actually, we help you quit smoking. I don't know how it did that, and I don't know how you can say Brain Force didn't do anything, because you're like, we've got like 4.9 stars. You take 2 of them, I want to climb the walls. So, Ant Farmer, I'm going to come back to you. But, hey, maybe everybody's different. Physiologies are different. Like, I told them when I had surgery a while back, hey, it's hard to knock me out. They said, oh, don't worry, we're using Curare. And the guy came at the end and goes, no, it took double the Curare on you. I've hardly ever seen that. All right, we'll be back. Stay there, Ant Farmer. All right, David Knight has a really timely guest coming on, an expert on driverless cars, a bunch of Tesla deaths last week. Military robotics makers see a future for armed police robots. We just saw this reported shooter in Dallas killed by a robot. So it shows where all of this is going. David's going to be breaking some of that down and more. If I can be popping in here in just a second with us. But Ant Farmer, and to be fair, I get lost in the shuffle sometimes and make mistakes. He was saying he didn't like DNA Force, that he didn't get any response from it, but that he did from Survival Shield, and they sent it iodine X2. Well, then he probably doesn't have nerve damage or other stuff because DNA Force is patented, over 700 studies. The ingredients in it are patented, like the BioPQQ, the true one, the patented real one you can absorb. There's synthetic fakes that cost more than what we sell ours for. We buy it from Mitsubishi America, just that one ingredient. So that's a neurological super nutraceutical. I was thinking, I thought he said Brain Force, and he wasn't getting an effect off that. Brain Force is strong, and I can't take more than one of them. Some folks take 2 or 3 and are literally climbing the walls around here, and it's a powerful nootropic. But I'm going to shove about that. Go back to Ant Farmer. Ant Farmer, you said you disagree with me on the Black Lives Matter situation. Go ahead.
And I'll continue taking the supplements because I don't think you're lying about it. I don't think you're trying to farce people. But I think your best criticism is going to come from people who have been listening to you for 20 years.
Well, I love people that call in and disagree. So just go ahead. I'm sorry.
Black Lives Matter has been around for about 2 years. They've generated tens of millions of dollars. They've had about 1,500 demonstrations. InfoWars has been around for more than 20 years. $110 million has passed through your hands. How many demonstrations have you had?
I think more money than that's come through here, probably. That's an old number. I mean, it costs millions and millions and millions and millions a year just to pay for bandwidth. I don't want to tell people how much. I mean, it's crazy. But we're very effective, and we're in an information war. We're changing the narrative. We're exposing larger operations. I've been out to many demonstrations. We've had hundreds of demonstrations. I'm going to Cleveland. I'm actually financing. You have to pay $30,000 for the police. I'm paying $10,000. The check was sent last week. I'm putting aircraft in the air. We just signed a contract to put trucks driving around all day with a huge Hillary for president all over Cleveland. I'm fighting. So I don't think that's fair criticism. But why am I being compared to Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter has the entire mainstream media backing it, and Facebook backing it, and Google backing it, and the White House, because it's creating division and distracting people of the red herring of police. I used to buy into this red herring of police. I started looking at statistics, okay? I mean, I've made books, I've made films, I've written books. Look, get to the heart. What is your criticism, Ant Farmer?
My criticism is this, is that we see your face every day, and just like you've said, you've admitted, there needs to be somebody else. It's not me, but I've been funding you, so I have the right to be able to say this without being told that I'm mentally ill or I have some kind of grudge.
I think if you're a mainline Black Lives Matter supporter, something's wrong with you. I mean, is that what you're saying?
Alex, what I'm saying is they're getting a lot more done in 2 years than what InfoWars is getting done in 20 years.
Okay, what are they getting done other than creating massive division, getting innocent people killed, and making the police not respond to inner city areas as crime rates double and triple?
So are you willing to tell me that every single person that you see in a Black Lives Matter, even the white people, are murderers?
Are we talking about the same issues here?
You just said that Black Lives Matters are promoting murdering cops. Are you being specific to one person?
I think the whole black nationalist movement, AP's got an article today, police agencies on edge, on guard amid heightened threats, attacks on police inspired or directed by militant groups. I mean, at the heart of this thing, even Louis Farrakhan, who used to get mad and say, if you kill us, we're going to kill you back. Well, yeah, the person that kills you for no reason, then yes, defend yourself. But even he's going, hey, whoa, we don't want a civil war. He sees what's going on. This is a plan to set black people up, okay? And so you're having a fundamental disagreement. Black Lives Matter is run out of the Justice Department, sir.
Well, sir,
what are they getting done? What are they getting done, Ant Farmer? What are they getting done?
The 60-year-old white woman that you see in the protest, she's getting more done than we are getting done in 20 years.
Oh, the woman with a Bernie shirt?
About Hillary Clinton lying and getting away with it over and over. I'm talking about your country bombing people as we speak. Sir, this is no longer about just chat like you say.
All right, listen, I mean, you're in Canada, and I hear your country. I mean, you know, This is a very illogical conversation, Ant Farmer. Does David Knight, I'm about to let him go and take a few calls and hand the baton to you, but I promise to get these calls. Do you want to say something to Ant Farmer? Am I missing it? Am I wrong? Because I'm not understanding what he's saying. Or maybe I'm missing the forest for the trees.
Well, let me say something about the protests. You know, quite frankly, there's a difference between activism and journalism. We keep a foot in both of those, but we're not wholly one or the other, okay? We do advocate for causes that we believe in. We do take a position. We report things. We report the facts. We try to cover the stories, but that's what we do to wake people up. I think we are having a difference here, but I disagree with him that Black Lives Matter has been a positive influence. They are promoting the kind of white skin privilege that Bill Ayers and Obama and all these 60 radicals that mentored him with the Students for Democratic Society, they all grabbed onto this white skin privilege. That's what I talked about Friday on the nightly news. They have grabbed this narrative. They have used it to foster division, hatred, and rebellion.
Look, the weathermen basically programmed Obama.
Yeah.
And they're now using the exact same playbook, but they're using the media to hype people up to do the stuff for them. It's all the same terms. It's the same people.
Bill Ayers stopped bombing buildings and he went into education.
Ford foundations. It's all a stinking plan.
Yeah. He stopped bombing buildings, Bill Ayers did, and his Weathermen Underground, okay? They stopped bombing buildings and they went into education. And what they have given us is the Common Core, the programming about white privilege. And what they're doing is they're using it to foster revolution. In Europe, they came after classism, okay? Different classes. They looked at it and they said, well, you know, America is pretty much a classless society, but we can exploit this division between black and white. And that's what they have done. And they said that at the time.
They wrote books. They wrote books.
Yes,
they wrote
books about it.
I mean.
And now we're seeing it brought to fruition. And he was in these institutions in Chicago working with Obama at the same time.
Wrote letters and wrote books saying we can't get the blacks. They've got their own communities, their own areas. We've got to buy off all their preachers, teach them they're liberal, induct communism, and then we've got to break up their families because these things are weeds. I'm so sick of it. I'm telling you, folks, gibbering liberal professors 9 times out of 10 are the most hardcore anti-human people. They hate black people with a passion. Oh, my God, I'm so sick of trying to explain this. I'm right, period, okay? It's been proven. It's an absolute fact. But they pay people all this lip service, how much they love you. I will talk to everybody straight, just like David will. And I'm just going to throw up. Look. In Africa, the UN will play one African tribe off against the other. In Europe, they'll play Catholic off against Orthodox. They will find the divisions, and there's always some real beefs on both sides, and play them off, okay? I want to take a few more calls. I'm going to skip this network break so we have more time for your calls than David. But, David, we need to do a lot more. We need to do a lot more with them hiring W.E.D. Du Bois and hiring all the black preachers and her quotes. We've got to really educate people because we've got people tuning and listening. But I tell you, George Soros, the Nazi collaborator, didn't help create Black Lives Matter and doesn't finance it because he cares about people. Tell folks what he set up in Ukraine. I mean, literal first president they put in walks around in black uniforms heiling Hitler.
And he called these color revolutions, and what he's trying to do here is have a revolution based on the color of skin. Okay, all these revolutions that they funded throughout Eastern Europe, they were based on different colors, a kind of tribalism, if you will. But look, this is a pattern that's been going on, and our educational system has been taken over by the federal government. That's what's wrong with it. And now they're moving to take even more control over our law enforcement. That's what's wrong with it.
And it's their training. It's their armored vehicles, their so-called, this is all the global training.
Yes.
This is what turned our police into this. We're linked up on drudgereport.com, a story with the migrants, raping people all over. And it is just a true tragedy that this is happening. And now we have the French police saying migrant sex assaults could trigger civil war. That's been their plan all along. That's been their plan all along, David. And David, again, everywhere I go now, there are suddenly refugees all over Austin.
Yes.
Weldon went to the park. It was like 100+ men, and the women had to all sit over here. And I go now, and the women are like sitting at the doorstep of businesses on the ground, and the husband goes in. I mean, it's like you tie your dog up or something. I just can't handle it, man. The left, I got to say, because I've never been left or right. I mean, they call me a right guy because I'm for guns and stuff, but the so-called left is just a very evil group of people. I mean, they really